Charlie Burayer and Toti Carino. I think that was the time that we started, the time nagkaroon ng idea, no, with Congressman Alvin Benitez as my counterpart in the House. So we started with the housing summit in 2013. It was a 6-year journey. Hindi mo naging madali because if you count it, kung bibilangin po natin lahat-lahat, almost 30 years in the making ang creation of the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development. So with that, Creva, maraming salamat for always supporting the Committee on Housing. We have a lot of challenges that we are facing right now, but unfortunately, I'm not anymore the chairman of the housing, but I'm always there. I'm still the vice chair. Of course, having authored and principally sponsored the measure, so I'm happy that all the housing industry stakeholders are always there and still very much active. Pasensya na po, medyo nilate po ako. I came from another occasion, wedding of a family friend, but if it's when President Toti Carino called me and invited me to be guest of honor, of course. Pag Creva, kahit puno-puno na, we had 2 hearings this morning, very important hearings, on the oil crisis, on agriculture, and then nagkaroon pa ng may wedding pa the whole day. But if it's Creva, kahit pagod na tayo, of course, I will never turn it down because I owe a lot to Creva because you were part of the journey from the very start. So maraming salamat sa Creva. Anyway, kanina niloloko ko ni Tito Amado, sabi niya talaga yung the good one tumatak na sa'yo. Sabi ko, Tito Bats, may nagagalit eh. Sabi ko, binibenta ko lang naman sarili ko noon, ng eleksyon. Sabi ko, kaya nga siguro a lot of people now don't recognize me. I lost a lot of weight from before, to be exact, mga 48 pounds na wala sa akin. Since the pandemic. Pero it was a slow process, no? Hindi ho biglaan. Kasi po, alam niyo naman, nagkasabay kami magkapatid doon. Kapag nagkatabi kami, ay si B1 at si B2. Kaya kailangan magkaiba po kami. Anyway, as I mentioned earlier, we're in a period of uncertainty with this oil crisis and Middle East conflict staring us. Napakahirap, no? As I mentioned, we should be treating this situation as if we were in the COVID pandemic. Because we are faced with uncertainty, hindi ho natin alam hanggang saan, hanggang kailan, up to what extent this will affect our economy. During the hearings regarding this oil crisis, it's unfortunate that much of the agencies seem to be very much relaxed. Buti pa sila chill na chill, parang walang crisis. No?
Okay lang yan.
When there's crisis, you should act right away and with concrete actions. No? I want the administration to succeed because in every crisis, dapat ho united tayo. No? We set aside politics, we set aside bickering. We need to survive this crisis. That's the most important thing. We need to survive this crisis. No? What we find out is that we have only 60 days of buffer supply of fuel. We're hoping that the conflict will be resolved very soon para magkaroon po ng replenishment, magkaroon po ng replenishment ng ating po mga supply ng fuel. Because what we have right now, according to the oil companies and according to the Department of Energy, is just good for 60 days. And at present, consumption, it will be until end of April or early part of May, mauubos na po yung ating fuel. That's why I came up with a statement that the government should be acting, no? Should act swiftly, no? And with yung kanilang sense of urgency, medyo kulang mo eh. No, dapat to, siguro by this time, merong alert levels that kung siguro bumaba ng 60 days, 45 days, 30 days, meron na hong steps that we should be doing. Not only monitor the prices, but also the prudent use of fuel. What is more important for me, I think, my personal opinion, whatever happens, we are already past the measure, suspending excise taxes on fuel, allowing the President to suspend, especially during this crisis situation, to mitigate or to absorb the shock brought about by the high price of petroleum. But lahat po yan masasayang. I'm hoping that it will be channeled very well. We will be sacrificing a lot in terms of revenue, no? Yung excise taxes, 100 plus billion po ang mawawala in the next year or two if it continues. That is why the Senate version only gives authority for about 3 months, no? Because we will be sacrificing a lot in terms of program. I'm hoping that yung pong matitipid po natin, yung pong masasakripisyo po natin in terms of revenue, I'm hoping that when we lower the price of petroleum, it will be put into good use, no? Industries and the transport sector should be prioritized so that the economy, as we face this crisis, will continue to operate. Yun po importante. The industries and the transport sector should hopefully at least to make sure that our economy also moves, no? As we face this very challenging period. Yung pong sa akin, no? We have to make sure that. Now, going back to real estate and development, you know, as I've been mentioning that these are challenging times, all the more that we have to make it easy for the real estate developers to do business, no? And to help the housing sector. As it is right now, napakahirap na po. I know your plight. Being a former developer once in my life, I'm sure that it's very tough right now. Isa sa mga huli kasing bibilin na considered a luxury is yung house, yung pabahay, no? Yung housing, no? Of course, basic goods should be first when there is a crisis, parang pinakahuli. But so these are challenging times as well for the housing industry. But be that as it may, given the situation, we have to make it easier for developers and the housing industry for their business to continue to flourish. Kahit na po, hirap po tayo ngayon, kahit tayo nasa crisis, the only thing that the government can help and assist our developers and those in the housing sector is to make it easy for business. Diba? Napakahirap na nga po ng negosyo kung mahihirapan pa natin, baka wala na kung pumasok. Recently, our country has faced a lot of challenges. Ngayon po, oil crisis. Noong isang taon naman, floodgate scandal, corruption, the biggest scandal in the history of our country, which has affected, no, ito pong ating pong infrastructure development. Right now, marami po ang hindi pa tumatakbo ang infrastructure development. As we all know, tayo sa housing industry, infrastructure is the key to stimulate economic growth. Nandito po ang growth natin. Yung po doon, multiplier effect ng infrastructure is enormous. Talagang ito po yung bumuhay sa ating po ekonomiya. But unfortunately, because of the reforms that are being instituted, dahil po sa mga ginagawang safeguards, no, sa ginagawang investigation, naging mabagal po ang process of awarding of biddings. In fact, marami po ang takot mag-bid. Kaya nasabi ko nga po sa atin, of course, we are for accountability. Lahat po na nagkasala, doon po sa floodgate scandal, sa corruption, has to face the music. Lahat po ng nagkasala, dapat pong managot, dapat pong pakulong, para hindi na po maulit. Pinusuko na lang po ang inyong lingkod. Marami na hong dumaan. Nung ako'y naging senador, nagkaroon ng PhilHealth scam. Ngayon naman po, floodgate scandal. I'm just proud to say that in all those biggest scandals that have plagued or hounded Congress and the Senate, ito pong guest speaker nyo, not even once was I involved in any of those scandals. So, all I can say is that, kailangan natin panindigan yung tulo. But anyway, as I was saying, napakahirap po, no? These are very challenging times. Before the war broke out, hirap pa po tayo sa infrastructure, di ba? Napakahirap na ho, ang bagal na ho ng ano. I was telling everybody, we are for accountability, investigations has to go on, di ba? Yung show cause order, but we have to show something also positive. Besides the show cause orders, dapat meron din tayong showcase, hindi lang para investigation. We have to give also something for investors, to foreign investors, and everybody to look forward to, something to look forward to. Hindi po dapat lahat pag-investigasyon, hindi po dapat lahat about corruption and all and political bickerings. Kailangan meron din po tayong ginagawa. That's why I've been consistent in my advocacies for infrastructure development. No, I've been pushing railway system, the airports, ports, so that it will stimulate economic growth and spread out the development in the countryside. As I have been advocating, of course, aside from housing, no, alam po ni former Yusek Abe, that I've been advocating that housing development should be dapat po transport-oriented siya. Kung saan po dadaan yung ating pong infrastructure development, yung highways, yung pong ating mga railways, dapat yung housing po natin and development should follow the infrastructure. The way it is being done in other countries, in first world countries, may master plan po. No? So, right now, I'm pushing for the comprehensive master plan for infrastructure development para po naka-master plan lahat from the infra to the housing to the industrial estates, business districts, and so on. So dapat po talaga township development and yun po, we have to have a coordinated effort. Dapat po housing, dapat po transport-oriented ang ating po development. Anyway, as I have mentioned, be rest assured of my support for the housing community. Kahit na po hindi na akong chair ng Committee on Housing, I'm still the vice chair of the Committee on Housing to make sure that I will be guiding whoever is chair, Senator Francis Cordero. We have been coordinating, we have been talking. As I was mentioning earlier, we have to make it easy for developers. Kasi nga, hirap ang buhay, hirap ang negosyo, hindi natin dapat hayaan doon lumapa ang negosyo. Hirap na nga, hindi natin dapat pahirapan pa. We have to make it easy for developers, housing sectors, no? Kaya nga, magkakaroon po tayo ng hearing, investigation. Sayang, wala pong boss ni Yusek Robles dito. Ang aking best friend, si Secretary, what's your name of your Secretary? Aliling. Oh, I would like to see him. We will be having a hearing on, to make sure that the housing sector will go on the proper direction.